So today, we're diving into this really fascinating movement that's kind of bubbling under the surface, challenging the way we all think about our digital lives. It's called local first software, and it really asks one simple question. Should the cloud really be in charge of everything? Okay, so let's set the stage here. The cloud, it isn't just a piece of tech anymore, is it? For pretty much all of us, it's the bedrock of our entire digital world. Just think about it for a second. Our work documents, our team projects, our family photos, even our most private messages, we've basically handed over the keys to our digital kingdom to these huge centralized companies. We've placed this enormous amount of faith in them to keep all of our stuff safe and, always there when we need it. But is that blind trust really such a good idea? We've all been there. When a major service goes down, our work just grinds to a halt. When there's a data breach, it's our information that's suddenly out there. This quote just cuts right through all the marketing fluff. The cloud, it's such a friendly, harmless name, right? But what it really is someone else's computer. It's kind of like keeping your most precious memories in a storage unit that you don't have the key for. Yeah, you hope it's safe, but at the end of the day, you're giving up control. You're giving up a layer of privacy and a whole lot of security. So if the cloud has these built-in problems, what's the alternative? Well, that's exactly where the local first movement comes into the picture, and it's built on a really important shift in technology. First, you gotta wrap your head around this idea of edge computing. Think of it like this. Instead of sending all your data on a super long road trip to some far-off data center, why not just do the work right here, closer to home? By doing the computation at the edge, which means on or near your own device, everything gets way faster and a whole lot more reliable. And this is where local first software fits in perfectly. It takes that whole idea of edge computing and applies it directly to the apps we use every single day. The big goal here is to make your device, your laptop, your phone, the main home for all your data. The cloud, well, it becomes more of a helpful assistant for syncing and backup, not the landlord who owns everything. All right, so how do these two completely different ways of thinking really stack up against each other? Let's put them head to head. Okay, this table just lays it all out. You can really see the trade-offs. On the left, you've got the local first approach. It gives you absolute control and what we call resilience. Your app keeps working even if your internet goes out. But on the right, the cloud first approach, well, that's where you get massive scalability and the ability to access your stuff from literally any device, anywhere. So the choice really boils down to this. What do you prioritize more, control or convenience? Now, this whole movement isn't just about some nerdy technical preference. No, it's a full-blown philosophy, and it comes with some really clear guiding principles. And these aren't just some random ideas somebody cooked up. They were actually laid out in a super influential white paper, which gives the whole movement this solid intellectual backbone. It's a clear vision for a totally different way to build software. Okay, let's run through these 7 ideals that are really the core of this whole thing. First, your data lives on your device, not some remote server. Simple. And that enables number 2, the app has to work perfectly when you're offline. Then, of course, it needs to be smart about syncing up and letting you collaborate when you do have internet. But here's the best part. The last 3 ideals, they're all about you. Privacy by design, true data ownership, and, at the end of the day, user empowerment. It's basically a blueprint for software that puts you back in the driver's seat of your own digital life. Now, I know this all sounds pretty amazing, but let's be real for a second. Moving away from a world completely dominated by the cloud, it's not going to be easy. There are some pretty big hurdles we have to get over. And yeah, this slide really gets to the heart of the main challenges. Getting data to sync perfectly across all your different devices, especially when they've been offline for a while, that's a huge technical puzzle for developers. But honestly, the biggest challenge might just be us. We're so used to the convenience of the cloud. Are you really ready to be responsible for your own data backups? It means we have to change not just the technology, but our own habits and mindset. But look, even with those challenges, what we're left with is this incredibly powerful and compelling alternative. The local first movement shows us a way forward that puts control, security, and resilience right back where they belong, in the hands of the user. It's a fundamental challenge to the way things are. So it really all comes down to this one final question. In an age where our digital lives are our real lives and our data is more valuable than ever, who do you want in control? The giant service provider or you? The local first movement has made its choice. Now, you get to think about yours.